This is 3.3 common factors of a polynomial. When a question asks us to factor 6n plus 9, it wants us to find a number that goes into both 6n and 9 and take that number out. So the first thing we need to do is find the greatest common factor of 6n and 9. So 6n can be broken down into 6 and n, where 6 is 2 times 3. So the prime factorization is 2 times 3 times n. 9 can be broken down into 3 times 3. So the prime factorization is 3 times 3. So the greatest common factor of 6n and 9 is 3. So when we have the greatest common factor 3, we want to rewrite 6n plus 9 with the greatest common factor taken out. So we will take 3, and when we divide 6n by 3, we get 2n, plus 3 times, when we go 9 divided by 3, we get a 3. So this first term is still the same as this first term. The second term is still the same as the second term. Now we see that there is a 3 in both terms, so we can put it in the front and put whatever is left inside a set of brackets. So 2n plus 3. So our answer is 3 times 2n plus 3. Next, we are asked to factor 6c plus 4c. This is slightly different because there are variables in both terms, but we are still doing the same thing. We are finding the greatest common factor of both terms, 6c and 4c squared. 6c can be broken down into 6 times c, where this is 3 times 2. So this gives us 2 times 3 times c. 4c squared becomes 4 times c squared, and 4 is 2 times 2, c squared is c times c. So the prime factorization for this is 2 times 2 times c times c. So our greatest common factor is 2c. So we want to rewrite our original equation with the greatest common factor pulled out. So 2c, 6c divided by 2c gives us a 3. 2c, 4c squared divided by 2c gives us 2c. So we have this number we take out to the front, and inside the brackets we put in what is left, a 3 plus 2c. So our answer is 2c times 3 plus 2c. The next question is asking us to factor a trinomial. So now there are 3 terms, and we have to factor something out. The question is still the same though. All we have to do is find the greatest common factor of 5, 10, and 10z, and 5z squared. Don't worry about the negatives for now. We will deal with those later. So 5 becomes, well, 5. It's already the prime factorization. 10z can be broken down into 10 times z, or 10 is 2 times 5. So the prime factorization is 2 times 5 times z. 5z squared becomes 5 times z squared, and z is z times z. So the prime factorization of this is 5 times z times z. So our greatest common factor is equal to 5. Now we rewrite our question with our greatest common factor pulled out. So 5 divided by 5 gives us 1. Minus, we pull out the 5, 10z divided by 5 gives us 2z. Minus 5z squared divided by 5 gives us z squared. So now we see we have 5's in everything, and so we write the 5 out front, and in the brackets everything that's left. 1 minus 2z minus z squared. So our answer is 5 times 1 minus 2z minus z squared. For the last problem, we are factoring polynomials with more than one variable. So you can see each term has x's and y's in them. But we are still doing the same thing. We are finding the greatest common factor of 12, x cubed y, 20xy squared, and 16x squared y squared. So 12x cubed y gives us 12 times x cubed y. 12 becomes 6 times 2. 6 is 3 times 2. X cubed y gives us x cubed times y. X cubed is x times x squared, and x squared is x times x. So the prime factorization for this number is 2 times 2 times 3 times x times x times x times y. 20xy squared becomes 20 and xy squared. 20 is 5 times 4, which becomes 2 times 2. Xy squared is x times y squared, where y squared is y times y. So the prime factorization for this second term is 2 times 2 times 5 times x times y times y. The last term here, 16x squared y squared, becomes 16 times x squared y squared. 16 gives us 4 times 4. The 4's give us 2 2's each. X squared y squared becomes x squared times y squared. X squared is x times x. Y squared is y times y. So the prime factorization for this number is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times x times x times y times y. So our greatest common factor, well, we have 1 2 in each term. We have a second 2 in each prime factorization, and we have an x in each one, and a y in each one. So our greatest common factor will be 4xy. So when we rewrite our equation, 20xy squared, we have 4xy times negative 3x squared plus 4xy times negative 5y plus 4xy times negative 4xy. So what we get is 4xy times negative 3x squared minus 5y minus 4xy. Now this is the right answer. However, we do not like to have our first term as a negative number. So we will pull out a negative from every term and put it into our 4xy. So the negative 4xy, negative 3x squared becomes 3x squared. Negative 5y becomes plus 5y. And this becomes plus 4xy. So our answer is negative 4xy times 3x squared plus 5y plus 4xy. Thank you for watching 3.3 Common Factors of a Polynomial.